Hey guys, it's Kay Journey, and I am back today with my first vlog in like 2 weeks. So I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. It is very early morning, and I am still sick. It's been 2 weeks. I finally, it's Monday the 18th. On Saturday the 16th, I finally went into the walk-in clinic because I'm like, it's been almost 2 weeks. I'm tired of being sick. And it turns out I have a pretty nasty sinus infection. Luckily, it's not pneumonia. I didn't graduate to pneumonia. I have asthma and some breathing issues, so I was really relieved. Oh, you can kind of see some of the chaos behind me. I'm still trying to figure out. I rearranged the studio so that I could film in different ways. I might just cut that out. I don't know. There's some of my kitchen mess back there. What the fuck ever. Excuse my language. It's early. I am tired. It's only 6:13 in the morning. My kids are sleeping, but they're going to be waking up soon. My youngest just caught a brand new who knows what. So did my boyfriend, and it's not fun. And she was up all night, so just rocked her back to sleep. But I'm excited to get back to writing today. I don't know how much I'm going to get done. I have a couple of errands that I need to run. As well as writing, but I think I'm going to try to prioritize getting some writing done this morning and then the errands later in the day, but we'll see. The number one thing that I need to do today is I actually need to get back into the book club book. So yesterday I was feeling just a smidge better. I think it's because they gave me a bunch of sinus rinses. Excuse me, cough drop. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, so I was getting back into it and I was rereading kind of the stuff that I was writing, and I really liked what I had written before I got sick, but I realized that several of the scenes were in the wrong place. I think I had written scenes that I think needed to be later in the book, and then these other events needed to come first. So I'm going to be this morning before the kids get up, hopefully I'm going to actually just kind of create a really quick plot grid. I haven't done note cards for this book. It's kind of been one of those like fast passion project kind of things. But now that I've taken some time away from it and I've gone back to it, I've realized that there's some really easy fixes that I can make now while writing, but it requires that I stop and take the time to kind of plot grid. And I know as of right now that I will not be achieving the 50,000 words in November. That's off the table. I might get to 20,000. I doubt it highly. 25,000 in November, which is fine. I'm still on track. If I write less than I was writing before, I'm still on track to be able to finish the 100,000 in Q4. There we go. I can talk. But it is what it is. I'm not terribly fussed. It's kind of one of those uncontrollable life situations. We've had some sort of a virus in the house 90% of the time from the beginning of school in September till now, and I'm just worn out and run down. And I think the reason my body couldn't fight off this last virus is just because I'm so tired, and I've been pushing so hard trying to push through all of these sicknesses and all of the kids being sick and my partner being sick and just trying to keep on top of everything. So I'm going to let myself have a nice, lazy next 45 minutes, and I'm going to try to plot grid and just kind of work through a little bit of this plot, and then I will hopefully be back. I might even actually put on makeup. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure it's actually a priority for me at this point. I'm almost 40, and my hair makes me look like I'm 70, and my skin makes me look like I'm 50 because I ran around outside a lot without sunscreen as a kid and as an adult because that's life. But the acne makes me look like I'm a teenager. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I will be 40 next year, and I'm looking forward to 40. So I'm just gonna spend today not being ashamed of what I actually look like, and trying to get back into the story. So I'm gonna get started on that plot grid and drink some coffee. Okay, so I'm back. I just got done dropping my daughter off at school and helping my son with some paperwork. And I have managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I got 15 scenes gridded out, but I know I've got probably about a good like 65 more to go, 70 more to go. Um, I've realized that some of the scenes that I had planned previously, I ended up breaking up into two or more scenes. So I have scene 5 and then scene 5.5, which is something that happens while I'm writing. That's just kind of part of the process for me. And I have to label all of them every time I do a point of view switch because I'm compulsive. Um, so anyway, I am just now getting back to my computer, and I know what two scenes I'm going to be focusing on first. I'm hoping to get to about 2,500 words today. I will be very happy with that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So anyway, I'm going to get to work. Okay, so I just finished my first real sprint of the day. It is 8:47. And I am actually really pleased with it. It's not my highest word count ever. I got 633 words. And I actually ended up stopping before the timer ran out just because I ended the scene and I only had like 2 minutes left. So I did my math then. So not as many words as I have been getting during a sprint. However, it was really, really productive. I worked through a couple of problems. I'm building spell work for her on the fly without really knowing what I had planned on doing. I kind of jumped into this book very fast and I'm winging a lot of it. And normally, with my other fantasy series, I would have kind of figured out the spell first and kind of written down what I thought would be part of it. But this just kind of happened, and I'm very, very pleased with how it went. Um, right now, my character is using a type of magic that she does not want to be using. It's a very dark, very dangerous kind of magic, and what she the repercussions of it are very important to the story. Not and I don't want to give anything away. Anyway, I did it. I did it, and it works, and it's is as bad as it's supposed to be. And the next time she has to use it, because this is just the first time she's gonna have to use it, she's gonna have to use it better again later in the book. Um, but for the first time, for her first time, and for what I wanted for the scene, it's exactly what I wanted. So and there's different elements in it too. Like, it's hard to explain. Part of her magic, part of her relationship with her cat, with her companion Zmai, is that he helps her with her magic, and he kind of aids in it. And I love how I added in some foreshadowing details for later books into this scene in just a very simple interaction with them. So I'm very I'm very pleased with how that came out. I'm very pleased with with where it's going. I keep accidentally, inadvertently dropping hints for later books, so I have a feeling that this is very definitely not going to be a standalone. I think I've decided that by now. As much as I keep throwing in things for later and hints for later and like, what does this even mean? Yeah, I'm gonna have to make it a bigger story than just one book. But anyway, I'm very pleased with what I've got. I'm excited to get back into the next round. I'm gonna reheat my coffee, and yeah, we'll see how the next one goes. I think the more my enthusiasm comes back, and the more I get back into the story, the more words I'm going to get. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm glad to be back. It's nice. I'm more excited right now about this story than I was when I first got sick and I couldn't finish it. And I think maybe I needed the break. Maybe I needed the space from it to really appreciate all of the craziness that is coming out in this story. I'm very excited. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to work. Okay, so I just finished my second sprint, and I'm even more pleased with this one than I was with the last one. I'm very, very happy to be back. So in this scene, some of the complications that arise from her use of the previous spell work that I was talking about kind of come to a head, and it's great. It's wonderful. Part of it is the conflict between her and her love interest is really kind of coming into this one. It's definitely they're definitely too much alike, really. They're arguing in the back of they're arguing in a cop car. Um and the back and forth is, because I'm right, so am I. Fuck you. Fuck you back. just, it seems so basic, and yet it cracks me up. And I think it cracks me up because I've had that argument, where you're both coming at a problem from different sides, and you're both right and you're both wrong in the way that you're dealing with each other, but you're so fed up and frustrated that it comes out like, fuck you, I don't care about you, stop talking. Only you do care. And there's definitely something real brewing between them. However, they are both very strong-willed, very independent, very I would rather not have you if you're going to complicate my life kind of people. So we're gonna see where that goes with it, but I am very, very pleased, very, very pleased with that scene. And I got 888 words, so I am up to, I think, 1,500 words. So I'm about 1,000 words away from my goal, and it is only 9:30, so that's very exciting. So I think I just made myself some more coffee. I'm gonna take a cough drop because my throat is already hurting from talking and to the camera, and I've only spoken a few sentences actually. If you look back, it's not that chatty yet. But I'm hoping that my voice will be recovered more tomorrow. But I think I have maybe 2 more sprints today. So we'll see how that goes. I might do 1 sprint and just kind of let it bleed over. It really depends. We'll see. And I'll be back. I'll be back with an update. Just a minute. Okay, so I just finished my 3rd sprint and I got 742 words that time. So I'm about 250 words away from passing my word count goal for the day. I'm just so excited with how it's going now that I'm back to writing. I feel like the words that are coming out of me today are just somehow like inspired by the couple of weeks where I couldn't write. Like my brain must have been working on it in the back of my head behind it, because it's flowing and it's coming out and it's great. So I just got done with a scene where my couple is still fighting, and they are how should I put that? They agree, but they're fighting. So anyway, it was a very good scene. I am excited to jump into the next scene. I'm thinking I'm going to write the next scene and call it a day for adding words after that. So it's 10:08 right now. So I'm going to do 1 more sprint of trying just to get to my word count, and then I'm probably going to go back to working on my plot grid and kind of figuring out what I need to go through when I go through and edit, like kind of the things that I've dropped down. I know that there's several scenes where I need to explain things more, and I'm kind of beginning to write or to keep a running list of things that I need to work on. And I'm thinking that in my next monthly setup in my writing notebook, it's in front of me right now. I'm keeping track of my words in it. I'm actually going to add a couple of different sections in, and the number 1 section that I want to add in is a place to write down a list of all the things that I need to work on in these projects as I'm writing that I think of, because I'm not writing them down as I go, and I'm gonna probably be dropping things, and I don't want to do that. And I also don't want to be trying to hold on to it in my head until I'm done with the sprint. So I'm thinking I'm going to add those in, like right behind the calendar, and then add in the word tracking section. But that'll be next week's me well, that might be a 2 days from now me we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what I end up doing. I know that I have 2 notebook setups to do for December, both in my writing notebook and in my commonplace R&D notebook. And both have been like wildly useful. I'm so happy with both of them, and I'm very excited to share like my progress with you guys. I'm not sure when I should be posting like the monthly updates of those, or like the projected when I'm gonna be. It's a thing. I probably will do the R&D after the beginning of the month, just because I want to continue working through it until the end of the month. Whereas I can kind of pre-set up the word tracking in my writing notebook. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because I'm about to cough a bunch. Okay, so I just did my my last sprint of the day, and I started to try. I tried to start it, and I just kind of went blank, and I realized I needed to eat something. So I had some more coffee and I ate some snacks. I shouldn't say snacks. I ate freaking candy. I went to my kitchen to look, and I need to go grocery shopping. Unfortunately, being sick meant that a lot of things um, went on the back burner, and so I have not gotten groceries. And the only thing that's in there are some stale chips and some oatmeal and chili, none of which sounded good for breakfast. I mean, I probably could have made myself. No, no, there, there's other things in there, but nothing fast and easy. So I just settled on eating candy, which is not good. Um, Anyway, I am done for the day. I've got 14,107 words in the Rough Draft Challenge, which means that I have gotten in. How much is that? Let me see. Okay. Okay, so that is 2,532 words in today, which is, I was aiming for 2,500 words today. Um, so I think that's good, especially since it's my first time back and I am already kind of winding down. I'm still sick and I am glad to be back, but I'm also kind of running on empty. I might go take a nap. I do want to work on the plot grid some more today, but I also again need to go grocery shopping, and I need to do some meal planning, and I need to use my brain for other mom things. So anyway, I guess I will hopefully be back tomorrow, and I might actually have makeup on then, and I might not. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Hey guys, it is Tuesday morning. It is 8:43 on Tuesday the 19th, and I just got back to the house from running errands. I dropped my daughter off at school, and then I had to go turn in some paperwork elsewhere. So I just got home. I did not have the chance to take a shower. I did not put on makeup, and I again, I don't think I care enough. Um, my voice keeps like going back and forth between really scratchy and normal, so that's just kind of gonna be a thing. I got alerts this morning. We are looking at a big like cyclone headed our way. Cyclone, like I forget what it is. It's like a mini cyclone or whatever. Anyway, we're looking at 50 to 60 mile an hour winds where I'm at, and there's a bunch of trees that are all around where I live. Luckily, I'm in an apartment complex. I used to live in the middle of the forest, and whenever high winds would come, it was terrifying because we were always worried that there was going to be a big tree, falling on the house. I'm not in that situation anymore. So the worst that's going to happen is that I will lose power, and um, I just got a bunch of food for the evening that can be eaten cold, and I got a bunch of tea lights, and we're going to be fine charging batteries and whatnot. So this morning I will be concentrating on getting my word count in. Yesterday, after I got my word count, I was working on the grid and realized I just, every time I try to do a grid, I end up doing the same thing. I get like, I want to say like a page or two into it, and then I switch to note cards because I'm like, nah, this is bothering me. Like, I want to be able to flip through them really fast. I don't want to have to keep like looking at it in a linear fashion, even though it should be linear. It's hard to explain. But anyway, so I made these last night and this morning before I had to leave. I will be continuing to make them until I get to until they're done. Basically, probably tonight. That's what I'll be working on after I get my word count. It says I'm on scene 15, but I've got like a bunch of, like 13.5, 13.6, 13.75, like, because I had, my scene 13 and my scene 14 planned, and then I added in scenes in between. Just because as you go while you're writing, it doesn't matter how great you plot, there will be things that are like, oh, this information needs to be in between these two instances. And so, you kind of have to plug it in. So I always just do, 13.5. So there's a bunch of information that's been plugged into these two places, or into that place, and then there's a few more other places in there where I've got like 0.5s and 0.25s and things like that. So it is what it is. Anyway, I am going to try to figure out where I stopped yesterday because I have a bunch of scenes that are in between that aren't written. That's what these are. This is the little tabs on the side here. You can kind of see those. Those are scenes that need to actually still be written that are plotted. So and they're scenes that I've added and things that just I skipped while I was going. So I have 3 of those tags on there. I actually need to add a few more. I think I missed a couple of scenes that I'm adding in. Yeah, like that one needs a tab on it. Yeah, So anyway, I'm going to stop fiddling with these after I put that tab on there while I'm thinking about it, and then I'm going to jump into writing and figure it out. So anyway, I will let you guys know how it goes as soon as I'm done with my first sprint. Okay, so I've only gotten one sprint in, but it is actually 10:45. I went to go write, got on my computer, and got swallowed whole by news articles and things like that about potential World War III and Putin and Russia and Ukraine. And anyway, I decided to eat something and try to watch something else to get myself out of where I was. It feels like the world is crumbling right now, and I just I just want to write my book. So anyway, I finally managed to just rip myself away from everything. I watched some Charlotte Dobray because she's hilarious and I love her. And then I just kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna turn on some background music, and I'm just gonna try to write. And I actually did pretty good for going into the sprints feeling like absolute crap. So I got 642 words, and yeah, I'm okay with it. I did end up stopping mid-scene. I wrote one scene and then kind of realized that I needed another scene before that one. So I'm about halfway through that scene, which was not a planned on scene, so I'm kind of just winging it a little bit. Which is okay, it's fine. It's more like police procedural stuff that I really need to do a lot more research on. So I've got like note cards and stuff going around for what I need to do, but basically I have a lot of research to do once I'm done with my rough draft in order to go through and edit it to make sure that I'm calling different events by the right name. Right now she's in a courtroom. She's in a courtroom. The person that they think is the murderer is being set up with bail, and yeah, it's just kind of, I forget, I don't know exactly what that court hearing is called. I don't know if it's called a hearing or if it's whatever it's called. Who knows? So anyway, I'm gonna have to do that, like research all of that after it was over, but I needed to make sure that I threw this scene in there so that I didn't forget about it, because the next day I have that person being bailed out, and in order for them to be bailed out, they need a judge to set bail. So, and I don't know what that like hearing is, if that's a hearing or like what it is. So luckily I have a friend who works at the courthouse, and I will just be like, hey, what's this called? I mean, I could Google it too, and that would work. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try to keep myself away from the news and away from all of the clickbait. I know a lot of it is clickbait. I am aware that the algorithm knows that I'm freaking out right now about politics, and so it is feeding me nothing but politics. But I really, really, really need to intentionally take a break, because I am just sad. I'm so sad. And I know that that's a very privileged thing to say, that I live in the United States and I'm in a relatively peaceful area, and I get to kind of put my head in the sand and say, hey, I just need a break, because there's some people that don't get breaks. In fact, there's a lot of people around the world that don't get breaks, and I know that that is my privilege. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to try to just listen to some music and get my writing done, and try not to let the algorithms tell me that the world is burning around me, because that's basically what's happening right now. My entire YouTube feed, all of my news stuff, it is all the world is burning around you. And I just need a break from it, otherwise I'm going to get really depressed and really sad. So anyway, I'm about to jump into sprint number 2. My goal for today is 2,500 words again. And so I'm hoping to get there before I have to go pick up my daughter from school. I still have 3 hours, basically. I still have 3 hours. So I can probably get that done as long as I don't get swallowed by the algorithm. I need to not get swallowed. So anyway, I'm going to reheat my coffee and drink some water and then get back to it. And hopefully I will get more words in next sprint. But if I don't, I don't. It's okay. It's all going to be okay. Okay, so it is noon. I once again had the hardest time getting started writing. Like, wildly difficult. And then when I did, I realized that I had taken things in a direction that I didn't like, so I ended up deleting a bunch of words. So, what I've got right now, um, like after deleting, I've got 359 words that I added in this sprint, but I actually wrote like 630 after going through and deleting a bunch of words. So basically, what happened is I realized that I had taken it into the courtroom when I really didn't need to. What I needed to do was I needed to introduce the prosecutor and the forensic scientist as people, and kind of do that. So I actually did something that I wasn't expecting. Once again, I added something that complicates everything in a new way. just kind of on accident. It happens. So I just I'm gonna leave that as a surprise for if anybody decides to actually read this. But good lord, I just complicated things. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with what I've got. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm glad I deleted what I had before because it was not really the direction that I wanted to go. Um yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with what I've got. However, I do not think that I'm going to hit my word count for today. I have an hour before I have to go pick up my daughter, and I just don't see myself getting, you know, another 1,500 words in. So I might not hit my goal today, or I might do it after my kids are back, which means I will not be filming because that is loud and full of interruptions and chaos. And I don't put, other than my private Facebook page, I don't put my children on the internet. Just that's my personal choice as a parent. And so anyway, and no hate to anybody who does. That's your thing. Do what you want. I just personally don't. So I'm not gonna film that. Um, I am going to try for at minimum one more sprint before I go pick her up from school. I'm thinking that now that I kind of solved this big kind of mess of an area, that I can move forward pretty easily. I'm definitely going to be adding more scenes in now that I've added the complication that I've added in here. I'm very happy with it, and it definitely leaves even more room to play with in later books. So I'm quite excited. I'm definitely I'm definitely writing sequels to this. Just I have to. There's so much going on. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. I'm gonna jump into the next sprint after I have some water. I also got an email that I've been waiting on while right before the timer went off. That was I also ate into some of my time. Um, I hadn't heard from this person in a while. She's my critique partner, and I've been kind of worried about her. And she's like, "I'm so sorry, I'm so busy," and so it was really nice getting that email, which actually also helped cheer me up. Just kind of, it's gonna be okay. The world is not burning. There are people in the world that are full of hope and inspiration, and it was really nice hearing from her. Even if what most of what she said was apologizing for taking so long to get back to me, which happens. Like, no judgment. I mean, whatever. I constantly have to reassure this person that I'm not offended when she takes weeks to respond. I actually kind of admire it. I have this thing. I am a people pleaser. I have been. I'm working on it. I have been for literally since I was like a little kid. So when I see somebody who takes the time to just be like, no, I'm not ready to respond to that yet, I respect that on like a whole level. I'm like, no, you take care of you. Like, you solve your problems. You can get back to me later. I'm not, I don't know. Like, if she and I were working on a project together and there was a deadline, I could see her needing to apologize or something. But like, no, I was just excited to hear from her. I was like, yay, she's okay. Like, I want to know what she's been doing. So, anyway, I'm going to, after I'm done with this sprint, I'm going to jump on and email her back. I'm very excited. Yeah, it's nice having a pen pal. We started out as critique partners, and I read her first book and she read my first two books, and she's currently working on her second, in the series that she's working on. And, yeah, we just ended up accidentally becoming pen pals instead of just critique partners. It kind of turned into a thing. So I'm very excited to be able to actually like go through her email paragraph by paragraph and like, see what's going on. Cause I just skimmed it cause I was in the middle of a sprint. But I couldn't stop myself from stopping to read it because yeah, I was excited. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I don't need to ramble anymore. I'm happy again. Yay. So I'm going to jump into my next sprint and we'll see where things end up. And hopefully I won't end up too far behind today. And if I do, then I'm definitely going to be making it up this evening. So we're going to think happy thoughts at the computer and we're going to jump into the next sprint. Okay, so I just finished my third sprint and I am over here just cackling to myself. It is 12:42, which I think in the last bit that I said I had an hour before I have to go pick her up, but I actually have to pick her up at 2, so I have an hour and 15 minutes left. So I have more time than I thought I did. I did my math weird. There's a lot of math going on right now. I'm having to do a lot of math with the words and the numbers and the things. So anyway, lots of math going on and I got my math wrong there. So this last sprint, I got 797 words, which brings my total for today up to 17,098 words, or 1,798 words. 17,000. That'd be nice. That would be nice to be able to do in a day. I don't think that'll ever be me, but who knows? Anyway, this last scene that I just wrote, oh my gosh. So the twist that I did in the last sprint, I actually jumped a few scenes ahead to the part where that twist kind of comes into play and wrote this scene and I'm so happy with it. Oh my gosh. So one of my favorite things to write are characters that are kind of morally gray. Characters that are kind of, they're both good and bad, because I think that all people are good and bad. And I think that's what makes a really good story. Even when we're talking about a 130-year-old witch, she's still got good and bad. She's still making mistakes. She's still doing things that aren't okay. She's still my main character. We love her to pieces. She can still be an ass. And in this scene, she gets called on some of her mistakes that she's made in so far in the book. And she gets called on it hard and she can't do anything but be like, yeah, I know. So that was really fun to write, because it's very like, we all have those moments where we're like, oh my gosh, I just made a complete jerk out of myself. And like, you need to kind of be accountable. Like, yes, that in fact, that was me. And she's not at the point where she's willing to apologize yet, but it's coming. It'll probably be in the next book that she actually does a formal apology for being an asshole. But she understands that what she did was wrong, which is cool. She does have another place in here where she apologizes because she makes quite a few mistakes. We're humans. We make mistakes. So anyway, although, I mean, she's a witch. Not technically human in like the mythology that I'm creating in this book, but human-ish. With human-ish problems. So anyway, love it. Very happy with it. And I introduced a new character. I'm going to have to go through and name this character. This character is a kitsune, which is, for those who aren't like huge anime fans, I believe the kitsune is Japanese and it is the multi-tailed fox. And they're kind of trickster spirit animals. And this kitsune is, the character, one of the characters that I added in the last sprint, and she was the surprise. And in this scene, she's like coming at my witch like, hey, hey. And I love it because she's not a main character in this. She's a side character. So I'm going to have to go back through and like figure out what her name is and figure out a backstory for her. She will likely be in the next book. But yeah, she just basically comes through and humbles my main character just a smidge, but also kind of gives my main character that lift upwards of, this is how you're gonna fix, like this is a direction to go. Like here's a massive major clue and push in that direction, because that's the direction that you need to be going, and it will eventually be the right direction. Kind of. So because she's a trickster spirit. So what she does say is true, but also not true. So it kind of leads my character in the right general direction. Like, let's say that she was spinning and looking in all different directions of the map. Well, the kitsune came in and said, hey, you're looking north. But that leaves an entire, like, 180 degrees of, is it northeast, northwest, north, which north? So, yeah. And they think that it's this way, but it's actually this way. So,
Anyway, very cool. I'm very, very happy. I don't know if I've ever really considered writing a mystery before now, but now that I'm doing it, it's like so much fun. I don't think I've ever had this much fun writing a book before. And that's kind of telling. That's interesting because it's just like one drop after another of this could be something super important or it could be nothing at all. And you're not going to find out until the end of the book. It's so much fun. So anyway, obviously I've gotten my enthusiasm back. I am less down and out than I was a couple of sprints ago. I think choosing to get off of YouTube for a while was a really, really good idea, and getting that email just definitely helped. And I am so excited for what I'm creating. So anyway, I am going to do, I'm not at my word count goal yet. I think I'm going to do one more sprint. And if I can get 700 words again in that sprint, I will have caught up to my word count goal. So I'm going to try to do one more sprint. Um, and see if I get at least, if I'm within 100 words of where I want to be by the time I want to be done writing, that'll be great because I have a bunch of notes that I now need to go write down in note cards and be like, okay, here's this, this, and this. I'm very excited. Very excited. So anyway, I'm going to get back to work. Okay, so I just finished my final sprint of the day and I actually got 1,178 words in that sprint. I did go a few minutes over, probably like 5, maybe 10 minutes over, just because I was so into it. I actually ended up writing a scene where my main character almost dies, and her friends kind of come together to save her, and it was really, really intense, and I didn't want to stop in the middle of it. So I just kept going, and I am like mind blown. That came out of me so fast and it was so intense. I know that there's a lot of details that will need to be filled in later. But even while I was writing, I was Googling things because I was like, would this work? Would this work? For something like this, because it has to do with some anatomy. It's hard to explain, and I'm not going to try because then it'll give stuff away. But basically, one of my characters came in and helped my main character survive something that she did to herself trying to do magic. Um, and it was really intense and really bloody and really gross. And it was kind of one of those like I wasn't prepared to write that. It was not part of my plan. I had her; she was going to scry for the killer again. And so far in the book, she's every time she scries, she learns a little bit more. But her last time, she used a different type of magic. I'm going to give things away if I continue talking about it. But anyway, she tried something. She tried to go back to her original way of doing it this time, and it didn't work and it hurt her. She got hurt really bad. So anyway, she survived barely. And we are getting closer to kind of the act 3. We're heading in that direction. So this is a really good way to kind of catapult her into kind of the darkest moments because she's kind of started to feel her own power and now she's kind of been knocked back down. And so I'm leading into this time where she's feeling like she's not capable of solving this and she's not capable of saving the innocent people, and she's um going to be at her weakest when she finds that she's at her strongest. So I'm very excited about where that went, and I've got about 7 minutes before I have to leave. So I'm going to sit down and do some math. Actually, we'll do it right now. So I've got 1,178 words in that sprint. And then I've got 797, one before, and then 359, and then 642. So I've got, oh, hey, look at that. I got 2,976 words today. So I passed my writing goal for the day by 476 words, which is super exciting. I'm almost back to my 3,000 word days. This was definitely a harder time than I was having before when I was at 3,000 words, but I'm getting closer to where I was before I got sick, which is very, very exciting. So anyway, I think I'm done for the day. I'm going to go pick up my kid, pick up some groceries, and then I will do some note cards later tonight. And if we have power, I might go through and do some editing because holy wow. Like, I can't believe I just wrote that. Anyway, awesome. Awesome day. I'm super excited. I will be back tomorrow as I stumble over my words. I will be back tomorrow. I'm actually going to be vlogging for 3 days in a row this time instead of just my normal 2. In fact, I might consider vlogging all week. I don't know. I haven't decided.
Tomorrow, I really want to get another 2,500 words done, but I also need to set up one of my writing notebook for December, and then I'm thinking that I might also try to set up my no, I'm not going to set up the other one. I'll do my writing notebook tomorrow, and then that one will be up. Um, the video for that will hopefully be up. I'm going to say next week, not this week, but next week. So the day before American Thanksgiving will likely be when that one goes up. So I probably won't have a Wednesday video this week, which I'm saying that on Tuesday. So I won't have a video up tomorrow. And by the time this goes live, it'll be the Wednesday before this goes live. Anyway, it'll be fine. It's fine. I'm still working on all of my content ideas and just kind of trying to fill the gaps in. So, and I still haven't figured out all of it. And it's going to be okay. So for this week, it's just going to be a vlog, and that's fine. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to get ready to go pick up my kid, and then, yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Hey, so it is the morning of Wednesday, the 20th, and I didn't get any more writing done last night. I did end up doing some more note cards. I'm catching up to myself almost in note cards. I'm excited about that, mostly because I did a bunch of, like, reworking of the last third of the book and kind of moving some things around, and so now all of my numbering on it is completely, like, all over the place. But anyway, I am running a little late today. I kind of woke up late. I took a shower late, and then I ended up deciding to eat breakfast instead of getting immediately to work right after I got home. I just kind of needed the chill time. I am starting to feel significantly better, but I woke up feeling a little bit worse than yesterday morning. So I think I've caught the cold that my partner and my youngest have on top of the sinus infection. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So I'm just going to keep taking my antibiotics, and I am going to keep using my nasal sprays and hoping that it doesn't get bad again, because I'm so tired of being sick. I'm so tired of everyone being sick. It has been an insane fall. Anyway, I'm super excited to get started today. I need to, because I've been doing note cards, I actually have no idea where I'm supposed to be writing today. So I'm going to go through what I've got and figure out where I need to be adding scenes, because I'm a little lost. And then I'll get started. Okay, so it is 9:50. My last sprint was not a sprint. So what happened was I went to turn on the sprinting timer and I didn't. I jumped into the manuscript. Unfortunately, while I was in the manuscript, I got really distracted because I moved a bunch of things around. So I'm like having to work on continuity, as well as I have some character magical abilities that are very specific, and I keep kind of crossing that line. So I keep having to like reel myself back in and find ways around crossing that line. Anyway, I ended up doing a bunch of editing and not much writing, not nearly as much. And so by the time I turned on the timer, I was mid in editing, and I just told myself, I was just going to keep going. And then once the sprint was over, I was going to stop and make myself some tea and just kind of check in with you guys, because that just got like wildly out of hand. So I did add 608 words to the document. Some of it's notes, some of it's actual writing, some of it I went through and deleted some things and rewrote some things, which, whatever. I should have left the words in so that I could count the deleted words, because they were written, but I didn't. So I'm not gonna. I just, it is what it is. Whatever. Who cares? Okay, so once again, I passed my timer up because I got wildly distracted. I ended up doing some research on something. I got caught in a side quest in the middle of that sprint, so I only got 548 words in that sprint, which wasn't even a sprint because the timer went off and I was on a completely different website researching. So I have a feeling today is going to be a very, very slow day. I am actually feeling better than I was before I started that sprint. I think that I just kind of am going to have to power through and hope that I continue to have upward trajectory as the day goes on. How you start the morning feeling kind of crummy when you're sick, and then you kind of feel like okay around noon, and then it starts to tank.
So I'm hoping that I'm on my climb and that I'm going to keep climbing and getting words out while I'm climbing. And luckily I planned on an easy dinner tonight. So I planned on snacking dinners for tonight and last night because there was that big windstorm, and the wind has mostly died down, which is great. But luckily where we live, we didn't lose power at all last night. So I had planned for the worst and got a little bit of wind, so it was good. But some of my neighbors where I live were not as fortunate. So I am appreciating my circumstances as they are, and that I don't have to throw out any food, and that I've got an easy dinner tonight. So that was a whole side quest in and of itself while I'm speaking. I need more caffeine. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get back on track. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I just finished with that sprint, and it was a wild sprint. It was actually a sprint this time. I didn't go over as much as I stopped in the middle of an important scene. I'm kind of still reeling on the way that I did this. It happened very, very fast, and I know this scene is definitely going to need a lot of work. It is the what's that called? The action rally right before and kind of the convergence too, right before the main battle there. Okay, so I actually just cut out a part where I gave stuff away because I really should not have done that, but I'm heading into kind of the very close to the final battle, the final climax. And I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready to be there yet. I know I have, like, I want to say a good, at minimum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've probably got another like 10 scenes that I have to go back and write to fill in some of the gaps in this, but I know that the story is definitely not as long as it needs to be because I'm getting close to the end and I'm only at 44,831 words, which is okay for a first draft, I guess, but I definitely want to fill it out before I move on to book 3. So I'm thinking that I'm going to try for one more sprint today and hopefully get at least over 2,000 words. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything that I have, I'm going to print it out, and I'm going to try to figure out my timeline because I changed so many things towards the end, and just kind of do some of that thinking work that needs to be behind it so that when I come in tomorrow, I know exactly what I want to be working on and the direction that I want to go. So I think I've got a lot more work to do today, but not as much writing to do today. So, and I'm not like emotionally ready to jump into, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to jump into the end of this book. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 scenes left. But some of my scenes are actually like where a situation breaks off into another person's point of view, and then it kind of breaks off, and then it jumps into another scene. So, and then there's the big final battle, and then there's like the aftermath. So I'm thinking, I don't really feel like I'm ready to write that. You know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet and write it anyway. And if I write it badly, I can rewrite it. Because it's gotten to the point where I'm accidentally throwing in information that would give things away while I'm writing because I'm like, well, this explains it, and it's like my instinct to explain it now that I'm getting this close, but I don't want it explained until the last battle. So, definitely going to have to do a lot of editing on this part. And I went through and I like moved another couple of scenes. I keep having to like shuffle scenes because I'm like, oh, this needs to be here, but it needs to be before this, but after this, and it's a whole. I have some plotting work to do, I think, still, which is fine. It's fine. So I'm gonna do one more sprint, and then I'm going to do myself the solid and print this out again. I've got it printed out over here, but it's like half of the scenes written is what I've got printed out over here. And this was all mostly printed out just to figure out what the clues are, to highlight clues, to make sure that I was dropping them at the right time and in the right place. and I'm kind of past that. I'll have to go through and do that again after I fill in a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I have a feeling that most of this book is going to be most of the hard work of this book is going to be in editing, just because of how tangled everything is and how I keep adding things to it that are like way before the story and that will be relevant to later after the story. I'm definitely going to be writing at least 2 more books, just based off of the things that I've accidentally tossed in here that require another book, which is fine. It's totally fine. I'm so good with that. I'm happy with that. Um, but it wasn't my intention when I started this book. It was just gonna be this little passion project, and it has now turned into something else entirely, which is great, and I'm happy about it. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking, stop rambling, and just do this final sprint. And I'm hoping for another 600 words. If I get another 700 words. If I get another about 700 words, I will have hit my word count goal. If I don't, oh well. I'm done after this next sprint because I want to print it out and get to replotting things so that I can actually fix what I'm writing, so that when I get to the end, it actually makes sense. Okay, so I actually didn't even finish that sprint. I still have 10 minutes and 52 seconds on it. And I did do some math while it was going, so I probably finished at like 12 minutes left. So I probably only did half of a sprint there. However, I got, forgot to write it down. Oh no, I didn't. It's 676 words in that little time frame. I was just spitting it out. It happened really fast. This is the scene that I was working on is one of the mini battles before the big last battle. And it kind of like lulls my characters into thinking that they're kind of okay, and then like all hell's gonna break loose. Um, and I've just revealed like some major plot points to the rest of my characters, and kind of like it was a really fun, really fast, really easy scene to write. I'm more surprised that it came out that easy than I was before I started it. I honestly didn't think that that was going to go that well. I know that I have a lot of editing to do, a whole lot of editing to do. There's a bunch of details that are missing in this, and some of it might not even make sense. But it's down, it's done, and I can say that I got my 2,562 words added today, which brings my rough draft challenge total up to 19,645, which is awesome because I lowered my goal down to 25,000. Just to be able to actually hit it before the end of the month, because I've had all that time off where I was sick. And so far in my 100K in Q4, I've got 4,000 or 45,507 words in this book, and then I've got more than that I added in the other book. So I'm doing really good. I think I'm about halfway there, which is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now, but not where I wanted to be right now. So anyway, I think that's enough vlogging for this week. I will be doing some writing on, a little bit of writing on Thursday and a little bit of writing on Friday. However, I have appointments and stuff like that, so the rest of my week is going to be entirely too scattered for me to be doing any sort of vlogging. But I am going to print it out. I'm going to do some fiddling with the timeline and some editing and stuff, and I will be back next week to let you guys know how that goes, and just to do another writing vlog. Oh yeah, and I hopefully next week we'll also have another writing notebook set up. I am definitely getting a lot of use out of this, and I also know exactly how to fix it so that it is more useful for next month and more useful on a continuous basis from here on out. So I am very, very excited, and I can't wait to share that with you. So anyway, please like and subscribe, and I will have more videos out next week, and thank you for your patience with me while I was very, very sick.